Hey everybody, and welcome to John Plays Games, where today we are playing Star Fox for the Super Nintendo, the original Star Fox. Now I will go ahead and warn you, in order to play this, or rather in order to capture it, I'm playing it on a Retron 5 because that exports through HDMI, so I can capture it on my Elgato. It looks really clean and awesome, and the Retron 5 still uses the original cartridges, so I'm not like pirating a game or anything like that, which is good. Don't steal games. But my Super Nintendo controllers, for some reason, are not cooperating with me today on the Retron, and so, in order to play this, I'm using the Retron 5 controller, which is a perfectly good controller. I actually really like it. The one thing I will say is that it's a little bit clicky, and so I apologize in advance if a bit of that clicking gets into my audio. I'll do my best to try and isolate the frequency that that's on, and try to edit it out. Alright, so I think this is the setup I want here. Right. Yeah. Lasers. There, okay. So we're good on that. We don't need training. Training is for the weak. Speaking of the weak, we will go ahead and play the basic course tonight. If you guys decide that you want me to keep playing this game, I can go back and try the other ones. I will die a lot. I'm confident that I can go through the entire standard course, just in one sitting, without too much trouble. Some of those other courses get real stinking hard, and since I am playing with a controller that I'm not entirely used to, I don't want to challenge myself. That seems like a horrible idea. So if you're not familiar with the original Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, it uses what's called the Super Effects chip, which was developed specifically for this game, and then used in a few others. And essentially what it does is it allowed the Super Nintendo to generate 3D polygons. And the reason they needed to do this, sorry, I had a brain fart there. The concept for Star Fox actually came from a Game Boy, an original Game Boy game called, what was the... I'm pretty sure in Europe it's called, like, 3D Space Tank. But it was made by the same guy, Dylan Cuthbert, I think is his name. And, you guys will correct me if I get that wrong. But it was made by the same guy, and it's wireframe, but it has a very similar look to this game. And it was running on the original Game Boy, which is essentially means it's running on, like, an NES. So very impressive piece of technology. I totally just missed that gun power-up, because I was talking to you. But it used like 3D graphics, and it was on the Game Boy. And so Nintendo was interested in that, and they decided that they wanted to make a game for the Super Nintendo that would use 3D graphics. And so they kind of got as far as they could using the standard Super Nintendo hardware, but ultimately found that it wasn't quite good enough to really do everything they wanted to do. And so the Super Effects chip was built. It was a custom piece that was built for Star Fox. That allowed it to do what you're seeing here, which obviously, if you're familiar with Super Nintendo games, this looks incredible. And while it's at a reasonably low frame rate, the graphics are pretty simple, I feel like this game holds up surprisingly well today. I still play it on a regular basis. This is actually my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time. As if you go on to, if you followed me for a long time, if you're a fan of A World News, my website, there's a whole video on there with me listing my top 10, just like personal favorite, maybe it was 5, I don't know. I listed some of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and spoiler alert, this one's my favorite. Oh god, okay. So because I've been talking, I haven't got any laser power-ups. So I'm going through this level with just single lasers, which is not a great thing to do, but it seems to be what I am doing. Die. Alright. Checkpoint here. I don't even know if those operate as checkpoints in the original one. I don't die enough to know if those are checkpoints. Die, UFO. Oh. Gosh dang, this controller is clicking. Before I do more Super Nintendo games, I will figure out what's going on with controllers and get that working. Because this one, like I said, perfectly good controller, but very, very clicky. And if you guys are familiar with Star Fox 64, or you watched my Let's Play of it from a couple weeks ago, this guy should seem very familiar. as he is the exact same boss from the Mission Accomplished variant of Corneria in Star Fox 64. Ooh, completely missed those guys. Okay. Not doing great. Very out of practice at this. I felt pretty coming off of Star Fox 64, where I put in like a ton of time to that game. I know it backwards and forwards. I'm always playing it. I've played the 3DS version a ton, even when I wasn't playing the X64 version. So I felt very confident playing that game. This one, while I love it just as much, if not more, than Star Fox 64, it has been longer since I played it. It's been a while since I've had the cartridge of it. Because when I moved out, that cartridge actually belonged to my parents, and so, or maybe one of my sisters, I don't remember. But anyway, the cartridge wasn't actually mine, and so just recently I bought another cartridge because the price of the Star Fox cartridge has gone down significantly. It used to be, there was a point in there where the Star Fox cartridge for the SNES was super expensive, but now it's down to like $10 or so. So it's very affordable now, and this would be a good time to buy this game. Because it would not surprise me if the price goes back up again. Alright, 91%. I'll accept it. And like with Star Fox 64, I figure I'm just going to play through this entire game in one sitting. We're just going to go. I'm pretty sure this, like, a single run through this is actually shorter than Star Fox 64, especially on just the basic course. So it shouldn't take too horribly long. Long. Andross's forces intend to build a base in this area. Destroy their rock crusher. I got you. General Peps. Oh, the best thing about this game is the freaking cockpit view, which is super, like, it reminds me of Last Starfighter. Did you guys ever see that movie? If you like video games and happiness, you should watch The Last Starfighter. It is a frackin' awesome movie. And the game that the kid plays in it, it was actually the first, little history here. Last Starfighter was the first movie to use computer-generated graphics to represent real objects. Before that movie, computer animation had always been used to represent either an actual computer model or like a cartoon object, whereas Last Starfighter used computer animation in the way that models would have been used in science fiction to represent the actual spaceships and an actual object. So interesting bit of visual effects history there. But if you like sci-fi, or video games, or any movies, you should watch Last Starfighter. It's awesome. One of my favorite movies. Anyway, in Last Starfighter, the cockpit view looks exactly like this. And it's awesome. And this cockpit view, I don't know if any of you, if you've played Star Fox 64 on the actual N64, they took it out for the 3DS version for some reason. But the cockpit view in the N64 Star Fox game isn't nearly as good as the cockpit view in the original one. And then the later games don't have cockpit views, which is disappointing. So, Miyamoto, on Star Fox U, I would like a cockpit mode. Thank you. I'm sure he watches all of these. He's our #1 subscriber. He's probably that one guy who dislikes all of my Let's Plays. I've noticed that. I mean, and I know, like, my Let's Plays probably aren't, they are not the best Let's Plays you could possibly watch. But you guys are nice enough to watch them anyway, which I appreciate. But there's always one dislike on every single one of my Let's Plays. And so I know there's just one guy out there who just hates them. And I find that delightful. So whoever you are, guy, keep on doing what you're doing. It warms my heart to know that there's one guy who cares enough to dislike my videos. It's great. That is sort of a weird thing, if any of you have done YouTube stuff. Like, when you first start, a lot of the people who are watching your videos are like your family and your friends, and they go ahead and just like your video, unless you have bad friends. How do I still not have a laser power-up? Am I really that bad at this game? But yeah, so most of the people who are watching your videos are your friends, and they all just go ahead and like them. So, like, that first time you post a video and it gets a dislike, it's such, like, a huge thing, because it's, you feel like a real YouTuber now, that there's someone out there watching your video who cares enough to, oh, golly, That was not a good moment just there. Oh, we're gonna die? On level 2? Really? But yeah, so every time somebody dislikes my videos, I feel like a real YouTuber. That being said, don't just go disliking my videos for fun, because it'll make them turn up less in search results, and that wouldn't be great. So if you get the urge to do that, just instead go ahead and share these videos with a friend. That would be much more helpful to me. In fact, do that anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm really confused as to how I managed to get through that level and the last one without a single laser power-up. Really weird. I'm also really nervous because if I take a single hit on this guy, we're gonna die, and that's not what I want to do. Do you guys ever lean in video games when you're dodging things? Because I definitely do. Sweet, I beat him. Okay, so we're good. Every time, especially in Star Fox, and especially if I'm playing in first person, if there's a laser coming, I freaking lean to one side or the other. And just, that's why I don't have laser upgrades. I've lost a wing. Huh, okay. Yeah, I always lean to one side or the other. And, I know it doesn't actually help. I'm aware of that. But, I feel like it helps me. Just on the inside. Alright, what percentage do we get that time? 91, that's just the percent. It's a good percent, I liked it, so I'm just gonna hang out there. And I got an extra life. Alright. On to the next level. I assume I get my wing back, and this time, I know they're wing power-ups. They're laser power-ups in this one. And we're gonna get them, we're gonna keep them, and that's the end of it. I should have, like, normally by this level I have the super laser, like the ball ones, or the blue ones that they made in the later games. But in this one, they're little, like, light balls.
Good luck.
Okay, I didn't repair my wing. Interesting. So that wing power-up I get is not going to give me an actual power-up, it's just going to repair my wing. Oh, there's one right there. Okay, so right off the bat, go ahead and get this, if I can kill that guy. There we go. So that repairs our wing. Here we go. Wait, did that? Oh no, that thing just... Did I get that because I got the wing thing, though? I don't know. I don't know the way this game works. Shoot these enough. They blow up. Go, go. Go, go. Health. Oh. Okay. This is probably one of the best levels in this game. Because it, like, does these cool switches. So, like, you're outside in space, switches you to outside your cockpit, and then you go into these tunnel things, which are pretty awesome. Shield. So yeah, the way the R-Wing looks right now, that's how stuff looked in 3D Space Tank. Is it X? Or X? There's if you ever played the DSiWare Xscape, that's a sequel to the game that Star Fox was based on. So there you go. Also, if you haven't played it, that's probably one of the best DSiWare titles. Or DSiWare? Yeah, like the DSi indie games out there. And it's made by the guy who made this Star Fox and 3D Space Tanks. Another fun fact is that the team, or the company that made this original Star Fox is actually the same company that ported Star Fox 64 to the 3DS, which is just an interesting little roundabout. I think it's cool when those companies get to kind of come back to a franchise that they've left for a while. Oh, I missed that one. That wasn't lined up with it. Crap. I know that, I'm pretty sure there was a blaster in one of those. But where would we be in this game if we were actually getting the laser pickups? We are going to defeat Andross with just our single laser, not even twin. Get through there. Blow this thing up. There we go. Shoot these things. I guess I still have my shield, so none of that's actually hurting me. That shield is lasting for a long time. Should go away any second now. I'm just so good, you know? It's, just doesn't want to leave me. Okay, line up with this thing this time. Maybe this is the one with the extra lasers. Maybe there isn't one with extra lasers. I could be completely making stuff up. Maybe it's a bomb that's in one of these. How do I slow down? I don't. Not like that. Okay. What is it? So it must be this one. I don't know how to slow down. Ah. Okay. Ah. Die. Yeah, I guess there isn't a laser in one of these. I'm just making crap up. Oops. There's the retro. Okay. Well, now I know. I know how to brake now, which is going to be useful. I was kind of nervous that I had, like, forgot to map a button or something. Oh, I missed the checkpoint. Oh, that one. I like this part because it looks like it's just kind of like a cinematic where it's like shooting lasers and you just kind of fly between. It is possible to actually get hit by these lasers, though. You should pay a little bit of attention. I mean, pretty much if you go in the middle, fine. Ugh. I wish I had better lasers, that would be so great. Well, this is gonna be real rough with just a single laser. I don't know how this has happened. I've gotten this far and don't even have the double blaster yet. Or the twin laser, to use the correct terminology. Ugh. In case you didn't notice, there's 3D. I don't know if that scene was blatant enough to point that out to you. Okay. Perfect. Oh, there's one more! Oh, I wasn't ready for that one. I thought there were only two. Wait for it to come around here. Okay. Doing great. There we go. No damage. None at all. Alright, and so with that, we get this dramatic flyout, and this is one of the greatest frame rate dips. Like here, we're like 2. Dips again right here, yeah. Chugga. Come on, NES, or SNES. I know my game systems. Alright. On to Meteo. Or Meteor, or whatever this level's called. Meteo is the one in... Is Meteo in 64? Is that where the Meteor... I don't know, we didn't play it. Because I'm mission accomplished all the way. None of those mission completes for me. Meteor. It's just Meteor. Meteo is later. The battle base, Meteor. Be sure to use your retros if you're going too fast. Be careful with my R-wings. Oh, right. Oh, sorry, okay. Keep pushing. Wrong button. Wonky walkers. Okay, I need to get a laser power up in this level. Because this game is getting... Stuff is starting to take a whole lot of hits with the single blaster. Ooh, Should probably be getting those health pickups, but that just, you know, makes the game too easy. Okay, there's a wing power up between some of these. Is it? There it is! Ah, twin! Okay. We are back on track. I mean, we should have more powerful ones now. Boy, that draw distance does not leave much room for error. I want that. Okay, I did. I gained more health than I lost by hitting the ground, and that's what's important. Helicopters. Extra life. There we go. If you shoot all 3 of those, you get an extra life. Now you know. Unless you already knew. In which case, I hated receiving that information yet again. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I didn't take any damage, despite the fact that it sure looked like everything hit me. Oh, sorry, Peppy. I saw some pixels, I shot at them. And boom! Oh, which one should we go through? Not that one. That's just a bomb. Not gonna. I guess it probably would have been safer to go through there than do the weird sideways fly between the doors, but, you know. Whatever floats my boat, and if you don't like it, get off my probably sinking boat. Ow. Alright. Die! Whoop, this guy. For you youngins. Gotta shoot his legs. Then he falls. And then you gotta shoot his legs. After that, you're gonna want to shoot his legs. Actually, you can't shoot his legs for this part, they just reflect. You just gotta dodge. Once his legs turn red, then you can actually break them. But you can't do that at this point. This guy's also interesting from a technical standpoint, because he's one of the few instances in which we see a texture map on one of the 3D objects in this game. On the bottom of him, those like fire whatevers, you can see him as he comes by here. If I could stop talking about that and actually watch his attack. But those fire things on the bottom there actually have texture on them, which is impressive. Otherwise, everything is just a solid colored polygon. Oh, jeez. They got a lot of damage. Things. For his legs, I should say. Jeez. At least I haven't lost a leg yet. Or, now I'm saying, at least I haven't lost a wing yet. Man, I am not good at these things you call video games. There we go. See, when he dies, he loses his texture. Alright. So on we go to Venom, which is like a 2 or 3 stage kind of level. You've got your state, there's, first, you have to like, very dramatic, you have to like approach Venom, and then there's a level on Venom, and then there's like the run up to Andross, and then Andross. 2 extra lives. I think that's what those are. I assume little Star Fox heads? Maybe they're not. Continues? I think they are continues, that's what they are. The final goal. Andross is hiding on Venom, Fox. You must find his core, brain, and destroy it.
Good luck.
Good rock. Alright. Ooh, twin lasers. I love them. Let's see if we can get to the actual power or hyper or whatever the more powerful lasers are before we finish this game. forgetting to talk and just concentrating on playing. This is, if there were going to be a point of this game where I died, we're getting to it. It'll either be in this section of Venom or the next section. Probably on the boss, though. The boss of the next section of Venom is probably the boss that I have the most trouble with, at least on the standard, like, easy path through the game. Oh, you separated the missiles. I forgot all about that. I hit. So if you guys, I don't know if you noticed this, maybe you just saw it just then, we'll see it with this guy too. When some of these blow up, you get to see the pilot go flying at you through space, which is kind of morbid. Yeah, they're like weird lizard monsters. Weird purple lizards. This is the gun that I should have had like 2 levels ago. But if we can keep this, it'll make everything a lot easier. Because it can just decimate these guys in like 1 hit. Come here, cloaky guy. Ooh, missiles! Cloaky guy, missiles, and at least like all of these give you health. Like this level is not short on health drops. Okay, now the boss. This version of the boss, this boss and the boss in the next it's essentially the same boss, but he becomes like actually difficult. Like in this part, you just like shoot him a couple times and he leaves, and you're like, oh, I totally beat him. Then he comes back, and you're like, oh, I did not totally beat him. So it separates into 3. You gotta figure out which one's the real one. This one, it's this one. Yay! We beat him, and I'm sure we'll never see him again as he flies off towards Venom. All ships check in. So far, so good. Okay, what's next? No sweat, Fox. Alright. So now, down onto Venom we go. We're almost done. 100%! You're welcome. I know you're very grateful for seeing such amazing playmanship, which is a word, and you're welcome for showing you that. Thank you for being appreciative. I appreciate you. Oh golly, we have bars. Venom has more bars in more places. Badunch! Get it? It was a subtle joke. Wouldn't blame you if you did. It's for just the more brainy members of the crowd. Ooh, golly. Hate those blender egg cart turrets, whatever those are. Oop, I don't. Okay. If you shoot those, they'll switch directions like this, so that you can get the bombs. Sometimes you shoot them on accident, and then they don't go the way you want them to. But I managed to not run into any of them, which is weird. Normally I do. Some of the stuff in this game seems like a direct... I mean, it's such a primitive 3D game that there are so many things in this game that would only be in a game this primitive as far as 3D goes. I mean, granted, it uses 3D very well, but like a lot of the obstacles, it's just like, well, how can we... What obstacles can we have? How about, you know, how about cubes? Or like just, you know, these bars. Just the lowest poly object we can throw at them. Cause the least slowdown, but the most obstacles possible. Bars. A lot of just raining bars on Venom. Whoop. Seems like a really dangerous place to live. Just constant, giant metal bars flying in all directions through the sky. We don't need that, so we're not going to risk it. See? That's smart play. At this part, like, if we still had the single blaster, this part would be terrible. But, these, reasonably okay. Okay, this guy's back. See if we can, handle him with reasonably low amounts of trouble. Okay, we did that in one try, so that's nice. And then you're like, oh, maybe I beat him. And he's like, I don't know about that. Jesus, I was gonna run. And he transformizacate. But I have the power laser. This should be okay if I can just do this fast, not give him time to get too creative. Kick me. He's gonna kick me. Oh no, he's doing his jumpy thing. Then he kicks me? I don't remember his... I do not remember his attack. It's like... pattern thingy. Here's the kick. No, when is he gonna kick me? Anytime now. Here comes the kick. This is the kick. Nope, he's doing that. Maybe he won't kick me. I swear he will throw his foot at you in a kicking motion. Promise you it happens. Not just making crap up. Oh, I thought that was gonna be it, but then it wasn't. I killed him before he ever kicked. I promise you he kicks. Look it up. Google that. Google that. Crazy Venom Robo Kick. I'm sure it'll be the first search result you get. Alright. Here we go. To Andros. That's probably the highest poly model in the entire game. Actually, Andros is probably the highest poly model. Fox, you are indeed a worthy foe. What's weird is he still looks like a monkey in the picture, and then when you see him, I'm sure all of you have played, like, even if you haven't played this game, you've probably seen him in Smash Bros. He's very, you know, polygonal and Tron-esque. Need that, but kind of hard not to get it in that situation. Your Owlings have no chance against me. Bring it on, Andros. Yeah! He is pretty cool, though. Just an animated 3D face. For the time, this was incredible. For his eye to come back on here. Whoop, whoop. Okay, didn't take any damage there. It's... oh golly, okay. Thought that one was gonna get me. Jeez. Not doing great. I really should have destroyed one of his eyes by now. There it goes. Not sure if barrel rolling in that situation actually helps. It's just what I have done since I was a child. It's like, hit the brakes, barrel roll off into one direction, and pray. There we go. Okay, now his brain comes out, which is pretty easy as long as you can kill it right away. Because if you wait long enough, he'll reassemble, I think. Oh yeah, he's gonna reassemble. Dang it. That is not what I wanted to have happen. Oh, sweet. I already got that eye. Okay. Just get through this part without taking damage. Okay, perfect. Go Brainy. Shoot it! Did I get it? Yeah! And that is how you beat Star Fox. for the Super Nintendo on easy mode. So not that good. Unlike Star Fox 64, you don't have to do a crazy follow your dad out of thing segment, because that whole backstory didn't exist yet. You'll notice that my ship has gained a few polygons since going through all that, because we are now in the ending cinematic. This ending cinematic also has some voice acting, which is very weird to hear in a Super Nintendo game. I'll stop talking so we can just hear it here. I swear it's coming. Just wait for it. Oh, it's after this part. Okay, never mind. We'll just review my scores here real quick. 91. See, I get better. Better. And slightly worse again, but not worse than I started at. And better. How did I do on the last one? I wasn't paying attention. And 96. That's like, I mean, you know what? For having not played this in a while, I'd say that was a pretty okay run, especially for only having a single blaster for most of it. '94. That is a solid A. Probably not an A+, but I'm pretty sure it's not an A-. Style out. Shh.
Come in, Cornelia.
This is Cornelia. Pepper speaking. Congratulations on a job well done.
Roger. I'm heading back to Cornelia.
Yay! That was weird. If you weren't alive during this time period, that was weird to hear. You just have to take my word for it. That was really impressive. And this is another, like Star Fox 64, this is another game that really gives you a lot of payoff after beating it, which is awesome for a game. It's like it gives you that little like cinematic there, which was very cinematic for the time. And then it takes you through every boss that you fought throughout your course through the game, and gives you like their name and like what weapon they use and their size. And I think it was kind of, you know, illustrating that they're in 3D and they have dimensions. But it's also just, it's cool to see just kind of like straight up just the 3D models. I don't know. I would love to see a remake of this game that uses these models, but runs on a modern system so that, you know, you're seeing it in a very clear picture, running at a good frame rate, but still have these old models in it. I don't know, I think that would just be an awesome thing to see. Because obviously with this, you know, they're very simple models, but you're still seeing them at, you know, a very low resolution, at a very low frame rate. They're very pixelated, and so it'd just be cool to see them, to just see this game remastered. If Star Fox Wii U came out and all it was a remaster of the original Super Nintendo Star Fox, I would love it. Because this game does not get enough love. A lot of people start their Star Fox history with Star Fox 64. But in a lot of ways, I mean, Star Fox 64 is great. This game is at least as good, if not better. It might be better on like a nostalgic level for me. But if you haven't played it, it is a bit harder to get your hands on than Star Fox 64, because like I said, there have been no remakes of it. It's not available on the Virtual Console. But like I said, if you want to get the original cartridge, now is a great time to do that, because the cost of the cartridge has gone way down from a few years ago. So if you have an interest in this game, I would encourage you to just go ahead and get the cartridge now, and play it, because it is an awesome, awesome game. It has amazing music. The music, I know the sound design is by Koji Kondo, the guy who does, you know, Mario and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember who did the actual score. I know Koji Kondo helped with it and did some of it, but he didn't do, like, the entire score. Uchi, we talked about him, and a lot of these guys as you look at these credits, if you've watched the Know Your Developer series, plenty of these people are going to seem really familiar to you. If you haven't watched Know Your Developers, go watch it. It's right here on this channel. We go through all of the primary like EAD 1 through 5. We are going to be making more episodes of it. But we got caught up with, E3, and that made us very busy. But we will be making more episodes of this series because it's awesome and it's a lot of fun to do. But go check that out if you haven't seen it already, because it'll make these credit sequences of these games a lot more interesting, because you'll actually recognize the people. You'll know what other games they've worked on. And I mean, like, I've learned a ton from doing that series. It's been awesome. Here's Koji Kondo, that awesome man. It's weird to see a Super Nintendo game where he's kind of just doing the sound effects. Music composer was Hajime Hirasawa. Okay, he worked on some of the Legend of Zelda games as well. He's another one of the major Nintendo composers, as I recall. He was assisted by Argonaut. I'm not sure if he was assisted on the music by Argonaut Software. Seems a weird credit, but, whatever. Ben Cheese! The credits in this game always reminded me of the credits in the original Superman movie. They come up and then have, like, the blue, like, speed lines as they go by. I think it was the original Superman movie had the same, like, with Christopher Reeve. Is that his name? I think so. Had the same thing going on. Ooh. Interesting. Looks like we're getting a little bit of slowdown. Music should have lasted all the way to the end, but I've noticed as the credits go forward that we are getting a wee bit of slowdown. That's probably because I'm playing it on the Retron 5. But the prices you have to pay to see a game in HD. Anyway, that's the end of the game. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this game, let me know. If you want to see me try and struggle through the harder courses, let me know, and I can try to do that. Otherwise, let me know what you want me to play next. And in the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV. There should be a button around here somewhere. And then head over to NintendoWorldReport.com, where you can get tons of other Nintendo coverage. It's a wonderful place to just hang out. They've got forums over there where you can just chat with other Nintendo fans just like yourself. So, until next time, guys, see you later. Bye.